Hello, my last gamer. Welcome to the video. I just wanted to let you know I do have a Discord and a Twitter if you ever want to interact with me or say hi or have a conversation. And if you ever want to catch these videos live, head over to my Twitch and my Kick and come hang out. I sometimes don't talk. That's unfortunately one of my mini quirks. Is my inability to formulate thoughts as my brain focuses in on what I'm doing, and then I'll just forget to speak. So I'm always up to hang out and chat with anyone that stops by. So hope you enjoyed the video. Welcome back to more Citizen Sleeper 2. We are currently on the run from Lane. We went to immediately go try to diagnose what's wrong with our sleeper's body. Alright, we have the option to explore the 𝓢𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓷, my ramshackle, assuming the decommissioned ships. 𝓥𝓮𝓬𝓽𝓸𝓻 is a serious understatement. Lots made of many hundreds of ships gathering, modified over time. Good engineer might be able to identify them. Flotsam Explorer learned the chaotic structure of Flotsam in the corridors. They're paying attention to the wires, the feed pipes. They lead you ever busy thoroughfares to hidden bays. Has the flotsam intrigue you? The passage to passage is a more incoherent place than you've ever visited. Plating, cladded, and cushioning of all kinds of conditions hides forest of wires and ducts, interfacing in ways manufacturers have never dreamed possible. Rooms are crushed cargo bays, flipped bridges, and eviscerated engine rooms. Patchwork corridors are lumped with messy welds bending weirdly along their length. It is, to put it nicely, a total mess. It's not that you don't like it, but finding the artificer among this chaos is going to be more difficult than a little 𝓥𝓮𝓬𝓽𝓸𝓻. This cycle, searching these winding passages, the more you see only scrap merchants and junk shops. You've begun to wonder if 𝓥𝓴 had any idea what he was talking about when he advised you to come here. A sleeper, the voice cuts through the pungent air. Well, I never. 𝓥𝓮𝓬𝓽𝓸𝓻. You glance the voice direction, you find yourself looking at a smooth pile of tech behind a fogged and scratched plastic screen. Is meticulously arranged counter. The only clear spot as edit, an older man with wet, wandering eyes sitting neatly. Approach the booth. 𝓥𝓮𝓬𝓽𝓸𝓻 tilts his head. I don't mean to be rude, please. And he bows a little. It's okay. He smiles warmly, almost bowing again. His hunched shoulders articulating the movement. How, he pauses, taking care with his speech. How are you feeling, sleeper? He beckons you a little closer. I am Jean Michael. Though pleased to you, 𝓥𝓮𝓬𝓽𝓸𝓻. I work with machines. He sweeps his hand above its counter. It configures tiny parts, mostly small ones. He smiles. I'm not great. Of course, he chops with his hand to indicate a stool with this leg bar. Perching beside his counter, and such as the clarity and preciseness of his movement, you sit sit. Your presence is a rare honor here. He smiles and looks down in his lap. I'm sorry if I make you uncomfortable. I'm very pleased to see you. It's okay. He looks up. Very kind of you say. I can see your journey has not been easy, he says with a general concern. You track his eyes across your body, noticing the scuff marks on your thick vinyl like skin, the replaced and broken parts of your body, the marks of violence. You pull over your jacket a little tighter. Jinmai folds his hands one over the other and places them on the counter. I do not know what your experience has been, but I want to assure you I see you as a person, a being, a soul, shall we say, a valid as any other. You look at Jinmai, his own age, and where evident, a life of precise and careful work shaping his body into a reflection of his process. You know, his unconfident way of speaking, which betrays a certain loneliness, a lack of practice. It is his turn to feel observed. Understand? You are kind. The frankness of his remark takes you by surprise. Looks down at his counter and begins to take apart a tiny piece of machinery and sits there. Many years ago, I began my apprenticeship. I would find that whenever I saw something that had to say was not working well, I fixated on it and its repair. Tinkers with the parts and twisted recycling. Of course, it's filled with this kind of dysfunctional detail. And so I was busy. For many years with these small fixings, he smiled in reminiscence. My brain cannot speak. My brain cannot process words. My brain is imploding. Anyway. But now, I find when I'm interested in a thing that is not working well as it should, he sharply twists his parts in his fingers, is because it might have some quality not yet foreseen or discovered. Releases the altered object in the air. My fucking brain cannot read that. Like a ballet, so whatever the fuck, twist it, run display, spinning on top of those moments are totally unpredictable. My smiles at you as high up at your toy. I can see that you are in the process of becoming sleeper. He catches spinning toy between his fingers. Let me aid you in this. What do you mean? In my precise hands drop the device around his neck. He definitely pulls a pair of goggles, making his eyes wet. Hold still, sleeper. Something flickers at the back. Something flickers in the side of the goggles. Their face blank. Jinmai's hands play across the buttons and switches on the exterior, turning and focusing. Let him work. Goggles are finally lowered. His face, the real concern on Jinmai's face. I think you better come inside. He kicks off from the desk, disappears, and a moment later you hear a rattle on a small bulkhead door beside the booth that you had assumed was just rusted shut, creaks open. Jinmai beckons you inside. Jinmai's workshop is even more cramped than you expect. As you enter, you are surrounded on all sides with netting holding bundles and bundles of terminals, servers, and drives and cables. At the center, a padded seat and a set of articulated arms mounted on with a sensor and tools to fill the space. The seat, please, he gestures. With a polite smile, he's going to probably diagnose the body. You tenderly sit on the seat, slipping your arms and feet into the straps meant to keep you from floating in 0G. Jinmai floats beside you. He looks across your body. There's damage here. I see that. Get to that. But I also see something else as well. This is why you came. Looks at you solemnly. Yes. Though I've never met a sleeper, I've studied them. I was lucky enough to acquire some materials from 𝓤𝓮𝓬𝓽𝓸𝓻 some time ago. In interest in my own endeavors, he begins arranging a series of sensors around your articulated arms. You're pleasingly distinct from those materials. His eyes flash with excitement. Am I right to think you've been modified? I rebooted myself. Yes, I can see the dependency. Your dependency on stabilizer on the immune recording portion of the makeup at least has been broken. It gives you a precise look, but that's not all. You are physically modified, not externally but internally. He carefully positions the final sensor. The tracker's been disabled, which makes it impossible for 𝓤𝓮𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬 to find you. Congratulations, you small red blade. But that's not all. You have been modified, yes, but you're also being modified as we speak. You feel a strange claustrophobia as 𝓥𝓮𝓬𝓬𝓽𝓬𝓙 statement. Modified? Senior rebooted you. Your system ran the recording protocol, and that shouldn't have physically changed you, but only removed the planned obsolescence. How? UI goes to terminal and flicks a switch, though the back of the translator screen you see a nodule webbed in a vague shape of a sitting body, your body. These appear to be complex, subtle, but consistent. 𝓥𝓮𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬 goes silent as he taps the terminal representation of your body, rotating and unfolding in an unsettling motion. How is this happening? How is a good question. He squints. How I am unsure of. See here. He points at the flickering representation of your spine facing towards your head. Your nervous system is growing additional nodule points here and here. Meanwhile, your emulation interface is growing an unusual access port, though towards what end I am unsure. You instinctively reach the back and touch the base of your head. As you do, the skin flickers and the screen and screeches with noise. You feel something there growing under your thick metal skin. Can you feel a lump, or is it your imagination when you pick at it? Gene, my size starts off the terminal. The changes are partial, and all of a sudden he gestures sharp. The sensors, the resolution is too poor. I need to run a full diagnostic, but I would need. He drifts over to another terminal, brings up the screen and screens of text and diagrams. Yes, I need some kind of medium to hold your suspended emulation. The access jack I can build myself, but we need to bring your emulation. To bridge your emulation, 𝓥𝓮𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬 speaks quietly, almost to himself. A ship mine would be ideal for this. You would have the high capacity of prime ship mine, 𝓢𝓵𝓮𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬 resolution, or perhaps a Heli engage my whole records. Where the system he taps the terminal. Yes, the prime ship mine is essential if you wish further investigation to be done. I need this above all. I am sorry to say, sleeper. Can you tell me more? Accurately, no. He meshes his fingers in front of his chest. It's clear that the process has begun, but not yet complete. 𝓥𝓮𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬 shoulders and folding away the articulate arms. As he does, you try to calm yourself. You feel you have worms under your skin, and it takes all your focus not to pick at them at it seems. He suddenly gently places his hand on yours. Please remain calm. He puts a carefully restored rear component in your hand. This can help. 𝓥𝓪𝓬𝓮𝓷 waits for you to fall still, then it leans back, relieving some of the strange intimacy of the moment. For now, our work is concluded. He meshes his fingers again and bows with a small bob. But you're welcome anytime, thank you. Of course. His manners seem to have returned somewhat more businesslike. As a humble man, he knows his customers' needs. Get up a little dazed and push away from the past. Safe trackable sleeper, 𝓥𝓪𝓬𝓮 says quietly, placing a promise list in your hand. He lets you go back into the station. You look dazed, unsure how to feel about this instance, but of the man's particular kindness, but all more heightened by the idea of unforeseen processes that were running within you. Part of you does not wish to know anything further, to leave this place and never look back. And another is desperate to immediately retrieve every object in the list you may know the strangest is happening with you. Now you must steady yourself and find a way to continue. See my 𝓤𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓸𝓻 comes to find you in your bunk after 𝓥𝓮𝓬's assessment. You find yourself drifting back to the rig in need of familiarity and comfort of your own ship. Sleeper, he drifts in. You found the officer. He hovers by the door, looking concerned. Explain the truth. You tell him that 𝓥𝓭 has offered you repairs, and he ran an assessment on your frame. You 𝓢𝓵𝓮𝓻𝓭 proof the articulated arms, the strangest of seeing your own body atomized, whatever, upon the terrible screen. Tell them that your body is changing, growing in ways that 𝓥𝓭 cannot identify, and the process has been started, and you do not know where it will end. You mention that the 𝓢𝓽𝓪𝓻𝓭 points, trying to best remember the details 𝓥𝓭 asked you to retrieve, and the things that he asked you to retrieve. 𝓤𝓵𝓮 grows pale and silent as he shakes his head. You stop talking. Lane, that piece of shit has to go behind this. Perhaps. Sure. 𝓤𝓵𝓮 looks stubbornly at the floor. I think what Lane is doing, because why else would you need an access port? I think Lane is trying to steal your character's body, because it technically is better than a human's body. And if he can transfer his consciousness into your body without the dependency of a stabilizer, then it would make him effectively immortal. We'll get you what you need. We'll find that ship mine. A bit of work here and there. We can make it to Hellions Gate and wherever else. Thank you. Just say the word, okay? He goes quiet. Don't give up on just yet. He smiles. Get up and get back to it. With that, he turns and kicks off down the corridor, disappearing in sight. You wait a little while, staring at this stained ceiling of bunks, letting the thoughts settle in your mind, and then ready to get up to leave, dazed, but with a stony determination in your chest. Fuel's more expensive here. I'd rather go refuel somewhere else. The Nero's escape. Barman Botan has a tip about recovery contract for a few chits. He gives you coordinates. The rig is blown. Its propulsion, and I'm stranded on some godforsaken repair crew needed. We will split the hull. No time wasters, thieves. I am armed. I can buy the fuel on emergency. I'd rather save the money and go back to that main station. I guess I could stay here for 3 days, let the chase build up. Well, there isn't really any place to work, really, is there? Any good places, anyway. Keep your hands where I can see them. The voice crackles over the oaken column. Your suits come as you near the stranded rig. Slow down. You slow your approach as little as you can move towards the ship. It's shaped, lumpy, and skeletal. The distance and the light of the sun. Warm welcome. Bodes well for the rest of this job. Bliss shoots you with a concerned look. You look up from the strand ship ahead clearly there, feeling a bit exposed. We're here to help? Well, I figured that, the voice retorts. Otherwise, I would put all that shiny rig of yours already. You arrive at the side of the rig, inspecting the damage. As you do, the half of the whole plate is up in chunks. The internal structure is moving and missing, but you have a feeling that that's not what you were here to fix. The airlock opens, you move inside. The exterior wires, exposed wires, the metal framework, the system wheeze and shudder as it cycles. Nothing of value here, so you're looking to steal something, you're welcome to it. Alana greets you plainly inside the rig. You do the work that's needed, and I'll let you take half of the haul. Understood. Well, alright then. Her face is placid and unchanging as a rock. Here's a short of engines conked out on me. I'm no engineer. Can you get her going? But I usually can get her going, but no, this time's no dice. Good thing I'm a fucking engineer. They looked between you and the rest of your crew. Surprised there's so many of you, to be honest. Bliss smiles sympathetically. Sorry about that. Don't worry, I've worked on these engines before. They give Almi a wink. I can handle this. Don't be so sure. It leads you towards the engine room and layout of the rig. Same as much the same as yours. The girl's a sensitive type. You'll need to know how to handle her. The central corridor of the ship snakes in a way that isn't familiar to you. You realize this rig is far more heavily modified than your own. The thing about that becomes all more obvious when you arrive at the engine room. Rather than the rig's stock engine, it's a singular block, double turbine with feed lines between. Allen's engine is a mess of piping and feed lines linking multiple raw components welded together, interlocking frames of the room. Your eyes widen at the sight. This is literally Drew fucking barely holding together ship, isn't it? Been adding to her ever since I was young. Almia smiles at the chaos. Might look like a mess, but she purrs when she's running. Liz shakes their head slowly. Oh, sleeper. Yellow puff air. This is going to be special. You struggle to tell if they're intimidated or impressed. Probably a little of both. That's about all of it. Emma gestures to the exploded engine. Get it running, you'll get your half of the haul. What's the haul? The guides over to the window and sits the side of the engine room and points to the corridor that remains. So deep inside the outer asteroid is a loose, dusty surface. There's the hull. She taps on the glass. Good to find. I've ever seen. The hull is a building? Building and all it's in it. She screws up her face. Well, you too good for scrapping. But alright. The building's mine. The scrapper's claim. She scratches at her messy hair, but you might get her up and running, and you're welcome to take what you want from it. Up to 50% of the raw mass, that's what it is. So we have to extract it ourselves. Looks up and down, Phil first acknowledged of you like a sleeper. I doubt it'll trouble you much. Or trouble one of you, my brain. I keep wanting to change what they say. Anyway, you're leaving with nothing unless my girl is back into shape by the time you're done. She folds her arm up, so get to it. You turn back to the engine, your eyes tracing the madness in your locking systems. You are starting to have a horrible feeling this contract is some kind of elaborate joke. Well, we'll work on the rig first, because that's obviously what we need to do. Oh, hi! Zombie! Welcome. How's it going, Raiders? It's going good. I got past the opening game where I kind of failed because I was taking my time. I'm currently, just if you know about the game, I've diagnosed the frame of the sleeper. How was your RPG game? Yeah. Yeah, some games could be like that where the game just kind of implodes at the end. Y'all gathering elements rigged to see the engine test. Engine room purrs and shudders. It seems to warm with the sound of the engine, with the polymistic vibrations that rattle through the open framework of the interior. You look over to Alma and see her eyes are closed, a small tremble in the corner of her mouth. Look at the engine, and Alma's engine, an object that you've come to respect over the past cycles, even though you haven't necessarily grown to love it. It is, as you see it now, a difficult thing to love. Whole parts of it make little sense. The old systems, though now bypassed, made obsolete by newer editions, still somehow it plays into a role you don't understand. It's unwieldy, unnecessarily so, and the accumulation of parts and patches from the long service makes it surprisingly fragile. Meanwhile, their sections have been welded and re-welded so many times that they're impregnable and will never be able to replace. It's uncooperative, it's prone to sudden outbursts of cooling air or even fuel. It is restless, it will begin to leak on left idle for too long. It is always too cold or too hot thanks to its cooling and fuel. It is hard to predict which it will be at any given moment. This sounds like hell to work on. Why would you make this? Yet, despite all of this, the object feels you feel close to, feel kind of kinship, because in the end, you are too an accumulation of broken parts, long outliving their operational limits. You too are a machine that has become a story that has grown long beyond its ability to understand. We go over to Amra again, and Bliss is there beside her. You see they're talking, and with the engine on, you cannot hear them. You watch for a moment, Bliss patiently listening and faltering words, only explain something to them. Bliss nods, and then suddenly they embrace, gently, with care. Bliss pushes back, and as soon as the moment passed, they seemed like it might not have happened at all. Nothing in two figures' attitudes betray the act, and the room seems unchanged. You remember it? If you had seen them speaking before now, but you would recall these many moments when you're not with Bliss. As you watch Elma approach, you realize the engine is not special to you, that between her and Bliss it might have been a bridge unique kind of respect. That's the job, Sleeper. Elma approaches you from the other side of the room, and you know where the payment is to be found. I believe that brings our business to the end. Elma scratches her hair, unless you have something to add. What do you do now? I believe that's my business. She bristles at your question. I need to find somewhere quiet to resupply on, but I don't think you should like my usual haunt, she gives you a sly look. I appreciate the assistance. You're welcome to take what you want from the hangar. If you haven't already. You see a knowing simmer in her eyes. Now, I must kindly ask you to leave my ship. As the airlock cycles and Bliss, as the airlock cycles, you look across at Bliss. You see a tear in her eye. You okay? Bliss turns to you as if you forgot you were there. I'm a good sleeper, really good. They sniff. This place reminds me of why I do what I do, why I fix things. She looks ahead. There's a beauty to it. When you find yourself drifting away from this rig in a haze of thoughts, it's clear to you at this point, Elmi's history is written all over this place. But more than that, you can't be sure. This story isn't for you. You realize at the gaze of broken remains, the facility that Elmi never took any of her. Realize the gaze of the broken remains, the facility that Elmi never took any of her half the haul. You turn back to squint at the cockpit of her rig. You see they're there looking across this wasteland, like still as a statue. It's an image that, as you load into the rig and begin to prepare to depart, that will stick with you. Every time you enter the engine room of your ship, a room almost identical to the engine of Almi's rig that will leap to your mind. A woman floating above a wreck of once her home, looking for a reason to keep going. Okay, we can actually keep looting it. A component search in the corroded remains of this facility made some valuables tucked away. It's time to find them. Alright. We didn't waste any time. We've only spent a single day out here. There's a hiss and rush of stale air as the still bay deep in the facility tunnel opens for the first time in years. The beams of your suit reach the dark, picking out the waves of dust and debris. They reveal a small bay big enough for a shuttle, but not like a rig for yours. As you glide inside, those beams catch on the frame of something that sits in the center of the bay. It's wide, flat, with a central section that runs its length. As you move around it, looking at sections of plates and open flame, you realize it's a ship, or at least it was. The frame is filled with rusting components and partially covered in old hull plates, suggesting it was a fast ship, an arrowhead designed to cut through debris and even atmosphere. You float up a little to see into the central cylinder as your lamps reveal the cockpit. It's outfitted for 2 people. One sat behind the other. The seats were carefully upholstered. You realize this was a labor of love. The whole ship, in fact, was seems to be built by hand, a custom model, little function out here, then beyond looping around asteroids for the thrill of it. Looking closer, brushing away the surface corrosion, you see flame painted the whole plating in a circular or curling pattern, like brushes. The brush strokes are even visible even after what must have been many years. My brain cannot read. As you inspect half-finished ship, a sense of quiet wonder keeping you silent. You notice a glint towards its rear. So you approach to see the engine, all interlocking tubes, the flared vents. It's unlike any you've ever seen, with the holes and the sides suggest that it may never have been finished. Those holes are the sources of the glint. You reach in and pull out some strange-looking engine component, each pristine and complex. Hesitate a moment, suddenly feeling like you shouldn't be disturbing such an intimate object. But it occurs to you that nothing would please that person who built the ship more than seeing these handmade components be put to use. You secure them in your suit and push away from the ship. To leave the bay, you turn to take one last look at the treasure inside. It's possible that it never flew, or perhaps it was in the middle of an extensive refit when this place was abandoned. Either way, its flying years have long since passed, and now, with the bay open, it will corrode much faster, melting with the atomized scrap of this place in your cycles. You suppress a shiver, and then start to journey back up to the surface, aware of the components dangling at your side. Alright, so we need to do one more day here. Rest a moment, taking a break from dragging the plates you've cut across the asteroid's surface. You find yourself looking at Amelia's rig, still there on the edge of the crater, and you still wonder if she's watching. With her engine fixed, you have to expect her to leave immediately, but she remains there on the horizon, able to leave this place. But as if in response, your comm channel buzzes. "Nice pal you got there, Alameda," announces herself on open channel. "We make scrappers you kids yet. That scrap will earn you a pretty penny if you know what you're doing," she continues. "Holmes, Rock, always looking for a good place to offload. I give you that for free." You look at the stacks of ragged torch-cut plates as they loaded up to the rig's cargo hold, and you have to admit you feel a little pride in the work you've done. "Thanks. You earned it." She glances over your You earned it. You glance over your shoulder at the cockpit of Amelia's rig. You see her watching. "What is this place?" The click of the old channel as it closes. Amelia takes a moment to consider her response. How do you... She clears her throat. "How about you tell me what you think, Sleeper?" A hangar. I found a ship. Amelia coughs and sputters and then goes silent. "Good. Got a good nose for salvage, have we?" She sniffs. "Not just a hangar, though. A home." Amelia goes quiet for a moment, but you wait, getting a feeling there's more to be said. "See how we're on the far side?" You turn and look up at the rock towards the broken frame and the panels, and just make out the dust catching the sun's weak light. "Those were the first priority. Get power running, recharge the cells for excavators and welders, turn the scrap into something livable." She falters and coughs. "Look now. You see them trembling? down collections of panels. They look like they were scattered by a careless hand, discarded without much thought. Comms line clicks off. You see the distant silhouette of Amina drift from view out of the cockpit of her rig. You turn back to see the scrap that has been loaded onto the ship. You half your haul. You're half of the haul, though. You suspect this place is more than just haul to Alma. Probably was her fucking home. That she's just been essentially stuck here back in the past with whatever family that she had, and then either they left or died or something, moved on, and that she's the one that's kind of refused to move on. And then she's like, well, I guess I might have to move on, and then come to find out her ship's fucked. Like, well... I'm really surprised there's not an engineering job here. The Hellions Gate hangs over the rig. Its corroded arches resemble distorted vertebrae of some vast long dead serpent. That's one big ugly pile of scrap. Seraphin whistles from the pilot seat. Solheim didn't like to build them small. It's kind of beautiful. Sure, Seraphin waves his hand to the gate. In the morbid kind of way, the long kind of way that dead things are. Gotta be big if you want every ship that visits the system to go through it. Bliss cuts in from the back of the cockpit. Impressive, really. Building something out so massive here. So, like to impress visitors, sure. Seraphin leans forward, looking for the best place to enter structure, but they also like to scan entire ships and impound those that didn't enter through the gate. Seraphin catches your eye, looking for some sort of agreement. Not the most admirable qualities. It was pretty impressive to me. Seraphin shakes his head. Gotta say, I'm surprised to hear that Sleeper impressed by corporate infrastructure. Okay, you could be impressed by like shitty corporations when they do like impressive things. Don't let him bait you, Sleeper. Bliss rolls their eyes. Solheim was cruel and ruthless, but without them, the system would be two gas giants on a load of rocks. No harm recognizing it. You look at the cockpit towards the gate. Its layers of systems and rooms slowly opening into the void, peeling away cycle after cycle, revealing the bones beneath. This is where Jinmai recommended you might be able to find a location of a ship that with a prime ship mind among the shipping manifest Solheim records. You look over the towering structure of the gate. This is going to take some work. Suddenly a fly up on the gate catches your eye, and light turning on and off again a moment. You lose track of it. Is this place inhabited? Seraphin raises an eye, but I doubt it. He winks and smiles. You open for a station bar? I have a feeling you'll be disappointed unless you're finding an example of the old liquor cabinet. Bliss pats you on the shoulder. Time to see what secrets the gate has left. The customs hall. Dark quarters lead off the abandoned facility. There's no map, no one to guide you. Picking a random direction falls to the option. Once a bristling entry point of customs abandoned after collapse, with some careful analysis, you'll see what's been left behind. Or go try to get the Solheim records. Power up and reactivate the archive. Once you get the data you need for the archive, power up the whole machinery of it. It's a daunting engineering task. Slower than turning on the entire archive. Selecting extract records from safer, slower methods might get. Once the maintained checkpoint for the entry of the Hellion system, then the gate lies. Now without secrets. I'm gonna explore the station first. After spending some time here, you're convinced you're not alone. How to find the gate's residence. The scattered, jagged old barge that carries the fleet worth of fuel. Carried time able to scavenge some for your ship. Choose cargo. Search for supplies. Oh, we already have supplies. Gate structure. I'm not gonna do that right now. That's suicidal. I'm gonna try to pirate the entire archive. Auto mines identify ships of viable ship mines, pouring through the records of the Solheim shipping lanes. Not much to cook, but you do the best of the supplies and eat quickly. Data scraping, the networks collapsed long ago, but there's data to be found in old terminals and servers inside the structure. Dark eyes are coming online. You watch the thermals light up in the dark. Such dark eyes are going to spin up. The room rumbles and flickers of lights. Hear something in the dark. In the dark, an airless void of archive, something flickers. I've been working in the dark, picking through the guts of the corroded machines, skimming in the data corrupted memories, digging through the graveyard in search of ghosts. But now, another flicker, the place began to come back to life. Along with rows of benches, some of them were crushed by fallen panels. Terminals begin to flicker into uneasy life, a cacophony of distorted sounds accompanied the machines as some of them immediately glitch and smirk. Did you do this? You stand frozen as the archive glitters around you. The million shipping entries, the streams of information is overwhelming. The nodes graph drawing out routes and inventories, tracing the web around you in pale cyan. Suddenly they all shut off, the terminals blink out together, leaving a single translucent screen glowing softly in the dim room, and that dim room drifting towards you out of the dark. You see a figure. Is this what you're looking for? The voice crackles aggressively through your suit's comms. Who are you? Sleeper? Is that you? It's Junji? What the fuck? You hear Junji's voice, tense and unsure. She stops besides the single online terminal. Her suit lit from pale light. Junji. You hear the smile of voice. Good to see you again. She pauses and glances around, though the venue is a little unexpected. What do you do? I have a pretty idea. I'm looking for a ship bind. She shrugs. Yeah, well, yes, I can see that. I've been digging through the archives myself, slightly less forcefully than you. I did have this whole speech prepared for whatever 𝓤𝓵𝓮𝓬𝓽𝓸𝓻 was ripping through these archives so messily, not to mention it aggressively. Now that I know it's you, well, I'm just glad to see you. Although you really need to be more careful, you could have taken the entire archive down the way you were working with it. These machines are decades old, you can't just rifle through them like they're a pile of scrap. I saw the pattern in your inquiries, a prime ship mine equipped, still operational since the collapse, the last location of the region around Hellingate. You can feel how pleased she is with herself here. Right. Nicely done. She nods. Would you expect anything else? That's why I didn't. That's why I did the hard work for you. Gingy beckons you over to the lit terminal. As you drift over, you see a single point faded and transit trail besides it, sunwards towards Hl'Ian's Gate. Something like this, maybe. She smiles and steps aside. So you can see the screen. You check the info pane. Besides the map, a ship mine in use, abandoned by all hands after the collapse. 𝓤𝓮𝓷𝓻𝓿. Something like that. She shrugs. All then it's yours. But, and the glow of the terminal meets your eyes with a question. What do you want it for? Explain the situation about your body. Tell her that G-Man told you about your shifting body transformed by someone named Influence, and about need a prime ship mine to house your inhalation while he run diagnostic in the process. She is silent for a moment, not sure how to respond. I'm sorry, Sleeper, but I think I can help you. I want to come with you. Gingy gives you a strong look. Do you know how often someone gets out of... How often someone gets out to one of those old 𝓤𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓸𝓻? They are more trouble than they're worth, but containing inside they are entire histories to uncover. I need the ship mine. You can't delete this one. I'm sorry. And you are welcome to it. She pauses. I promise to help you get what you need, and not to get in your way. I know I can't force or trick you into taking me. That's why I wanted to offer this instead. She indicates on the terminal, still showing the ship's final resting place. I hope that if I helped you find what you need, it would show I can be trusted. I trust you. She smiles. Thank you for saying so. I'll send the coordinates to your ship. I'll be hanging around the gate until you're ready to leave. She shifts in front of the terminal and plugs in her back, tapping away at rapid speed. If you need to get supplies from Spindle or anything else, she folds her arms. I'll wait. But if you do go on the job without me, I'll get the message. You won't see me here again. You won't see me again. With that, you leave her in the archives, extracted data. You ascend back the headings and get upper levels. You fuckers get some fuel. Actually, I get some supplies. I'm gonna do some work on the station before we go out. Even though I'm starving, I'm technically going to get some more food once I relaunch. We'll take Bliss and Junji. Eugen can sit back on this one. We're too far sunward, Sleeper. Seraphin turns back in his chair to look at you. I don't like it. It's hard not to agree. The coordinates Junji found have drawn you out of Hl'Ian's Gate, almost out of the belt completely. Then the soft rumble stern transition with the Hl'Ian system, to the edge of the convoy edge of Conway-controlled space. That's why the ship like this is untouched. Unity surveys the wreck coldly. It's too far sunward for the belt traffic to run into, and now with Conway drones patrolling the edge of the belt, it's even less attractive as salvage site. Lucky us. Junie eyes you try to check if you're being sarcastic or not. I doubt anyone here has been here in decades, so actually I would say we are lucky. Any drone signals? None that I can see, so I don't dare reach out too far. 𝓤𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓸𝓻 flicks such as we should assume they're out there. As you look the twisted wreck, you swear you see a red light blinking between the stars. You exchange a look with 𝓤𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓸𝓻. He has seen it too. You better get to it, sleeper. 𝓤𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓻 begins unclipping his belt quickly and quietly. From what I understand, Conway's drones run on automatic until they detect something of interest. She unclips too. So as long as we are quiet, we don't have to contend with the operator, just the automated search sweep. So if we're detected, we will be killed by a machine, not a person. Blinks and shakes their head. I do not find that very reassuring. They get up out of the corner of the seat and glide towards the back of the ship and get suited up. Drift out of your chair, head towards the airlock, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. Being here is a risk, you know that, but you need the ship mine, so no matter what happens, you won't be leaving here empty-handed. Some of the ship network's architecture might be still functional. Accessing the map from it will help you explore the wreck, or explore the wreck on your own, or just explore the wreck outright. Network architecture might be bring unwanted attention while exploring. Likely, this is like, okay, so if we fuck up here, that's gonna bring drone presence. Okay, I don't wanna risk fucking up on that one. That was a risk, but we're gonna have to end the cycle. Oh, my dice. It leads you deep into the wreck, though. Crushed and twisted corridors floating panels and wires are appearing suddenly in your headlamps, like strange sculptures. Just as you begin to tire of the endless dark and the haze of particles washing over your suit, Junji leads you into the chamber where the ceiling is torn open and reveals the stars. At the center lies a cylindrical object half your height, but raised in a complex pedestal from which countless thick cables shake off into the dark braided hair. One or two of them float freely, weaving back and forth, glinting with several severed ends, but most of them disappear into the floor walls are twisted and curved out of sight. Beautiful, isn't it? Junji stares into the prime ship mine, the stars reflected in her faceplate. Not bad. Junji glides over to the pedestal, pushing her way delicately through the wires as she takes out her terminal and looks for an access port. She talks softly, her voice carried through the suit comms. These cables lead off to every one of the ship's systems: engines, life support, navigations, lights, networking, you name it. Shipmind has hardwired access to all of it. When old ships like these are running well, the ship mind could distribute itself, some of its protocols running freely through every different section. Certain sections, it would be less like a single governing mind, more like a load of systems clumped together from a complex living machine. Think of a plant rather than a being. A plant with incredibly rapid processing power and much more accelerated response times than your average tree. You watch as she finds the access port, slips the cable inside, slotting a translucent screen onto the top edge of her deck. Let's see here. Junji fills the bright scrolling data. Incredible, there's so much here. She hits a few keys. I'll start copying this over. It's everything I need. Junji starts rapidly tapping the board, her attention sucked into the data she's correcting. Junji, ship mine? She snaps out of her trance. Sorry, let me check. As I thought, she sighs. It's so I like saying it. The protocols inside the ship mine are distributed, so when the mine is shut down unexpectedly. The protocols rarely are all contained in this unit. She places a hand gently on the cylinder. As it's the case here, parts of it are trapped elsewhere in the ship system's nodes. She has a few keys, which means the problem. There's always a problem. Luckily, Junji turns to you, smiling. You have me. If we rip the thing out now, which parts of it protocols elsewhere, it's probably going to destroy itself in the moment we turn it on. It doesn't matter that we're going to wipe the whole thing anyway, it'll be too late. The mind inside the ship mind will be broken. But if we find the nodes housing the distributed parts, power them up, then disconnect them, protocols will be sent right back to the ship mind there that we can take clean. Or we find these nodes. We either ask the cradle very earnestly or spend time in the next few cycles following these cables for where they lead. At an incoming signal, 𝓢𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓸𝓻 suddenly cuts through. Urgent. If you're lighting up the system's networks down there, time to stop. Your click of Junji disconnect from the cradle, and then two of the exchange nervous looks, immediately backing off from the ship mind. Suddenly a faint red light glitters in the dark beyond the broken ceiling. You hold still. The moment stretches out. You hear Junji's breath through the comms. The lights flash, pause, and then fade. You take a deep breath too close. Calmly drone, sniffing the network. We're clear. I have turned off most of the rig systems, but we need to be careful. Keep network activity to a minimum. Understood, but we need to access the network to get the ship mine out quickly. Then I hope you're feeling lucky, because there's a click on 𝓢𝓵𝓮𝓮𝓸𝓻 line closes. You and Junji look at each other, and then the ship mine encased in the cradle, wrapped in cables. This is not going to be easy. Junji can hack the cradle. Hacking the cradle directly reveals the location of the system, but any network activity will likely draw attention of the wreck. If we fail. I'm assuming if I even get a middling response. I might have to press. Oh, god fucking damn it. I'm gonna hack it. One click cut through the cable, the node would be disconnected, but mess up, it could be trouble. Disconnection nodes by any means will allow the ship mine to extract safely, and then port node. Alright, so engineering-wise, I can fucking just cut this thing to pieces. Alright, most of my dice is about to get fucking broken. God fucking damn it! I swear to fucking Christ. It's ready, sleeper. Genji's voice currently comes through the comms. You look over at her floating beside the cradle. The pellet screen of her desk. She gives you a reassuring nod. You turn to the prime ship mine, now floating above its cradle. The final one disconnected, and the lock's released. Glide over and gently grab it. The worn metal casing gleaming in the dim light. As you do, you feel a strange sensation moving around inside, like a creature in a box. The weight shifting the way that it's under pressure of your grip. Then suddenly dawns on you that that Jinmai plans to put you inside this device. Hold your mind there while he investigates your body, though that prompts a shiver. That drone sniffing around Sleeper, Seraphim, the crackles of the comms. So if you got what you need, let's go. Junji's hands follow your shoulder. Come on, Sleeper, don't overthink it. She pats you gently. We've plenty of time for that later. You look up and see a faint red light glittering on the dark beyond the broken ceiling. Time to leave! I was about to fucking have a mental breakdown if we got the last second fuck up. Arriving back at the Hellion Gate, lonely and cold, feels like relief. There's a tension in the rig. You came back out of the inner system, watchful for errant signals of glinting red beacons that choke conversation. But now floating in the comforting shadow of the vast ruin, you sense a relief. It's palpable. That's one prime ship mine, condition unknown, retrieved. Seraphim runs the engine shutdown protocol. I mark that a success. Agreed, thank you. Seraphim waves his hands. We're a crew, we work together. Sleeper, can I speak with you? Junji asks from the back of the cockpit, of course. She leads you out of the passage, tucking herself against the wall. She looks small even in the compact space. Thank you for taking me with you. I hope I prove yourself trustworthy. I'd never doubted you. It's nice to hear. She smiles at the floor. Thank you. It's my time here, in the belt. I haven't found it easy to make friends. She falters, tripping over words slightly. But you, Sleeper, I hope you consider me as a friend. I would. She can't help but smile. I'm glad. Now, I'd like to ask you something. She pauses. Do you consider take me with you on the rig? She blurts out before answer. I think that'd be a help in your diagnostic. In the meantime, I can take a look at the ship mine, make sure it's ready, and yes, you can, Junji. She stops speechless, looking down at her hands and then back at you. Okay, she smiles. Thank you. She looks down again. I will find a bunk. We fucking need to make a hotel of the ship. We're going to have 8 million crew. She glides off down the corridor before you can say anything further. Another stray collected, 𝓤𝓵𝓮 puts his hand on your shoulder. Quite the refuge you were building here. Gives you a sly smile. You don't approve? 𝓤𝓵𝓮 shrugs. You know, I actually start to warm up this one. Alright, by me. He smiles and pushes off off your shoulder, gliding towards the engine room. You look towards the bunk, but Junji's already out of sight, likely unpacking already. The ship's getting a little crowded, but so you realize you like it that. You like it that. You like it like that, my brain. At the very least, she's proven valuable when you get to the flotsam where you deal with Junmai, and perhaps she'll even have a read on the old man. You pause for a second, appreciating the warmth hum of the rig as it inhabits this ship you think is starting to feel like home. Alright, I physically need to repair myself. My body is fucked. Again. Oh, stress can damage me? Okay. Well, also, while we're out here, we could go right to the green belt. Oh, we have just enough fuel to get to the green belt. But before we wander off to the green belt, I'm gonna take a small little break. Thank you for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a subscription, leave a comment, a like. Maybe head over to my Twitch and Kick and follow me there and say hi. I hope you have a great, wonderful rest of your day.
The night is young, but it feels so old. A story written, yet never told. The mask is heavy.